As you know, EL&S has that short track rail that went here, and they've put on notice of abandonment. How do we help out there? They were also concerned about the smelter, the old white pine smelter. If we do mine copper again in Ironwood and Gogebic County in the township, and we smelt it here. So we're all sort of interrelated here in this whole western UP. What happens in Ironwood affects Ontonagon. What happens in Ontonagon affects the Baraga. I was in Iron County the other day, and they brought up the whole thing. Another example is like when we had those contracts to help out Marinette Marine, which is a shipyard down Menominee, Marinette, where I live, the LCS program, which is about a $300 million ship. At least 150 suppliers for that ship is in the Upper Peninsula. So when we look at it, what we do, we're all interrelated. And what you're experiencing in Ontonagon, unfortunately, we've experienced in Niagara, Wisconsin. That's right by Iron Mountain. They just shut down their mill here about, 18 months ago, 2 years ago. We're now going to make it into a rubber, produce tires. Looks like tires in that place. Why am I involved in that? Of the 300 workers who lost their job at the Niagara mill, about 185, 165 right around there were Upper Peninsula residents. So we did a lot of work on that one. Unfortunately, we see these corporate decisions which leave companies behind, and they leave plants and mills behind. More importantly, they leave communities behind. So I don't have all the answers tonight on how we're going to get through this, but I'll do as I always, and I'm sure Mike Lottie and the representatives from the senators will tell you, we will always pledge to work day in, day out to help you get through this. It is a tough, tough time. Unfortunately, we're seeing this throughout the whole country. To give you an example of how bad it's throughout this country, I'm sure you don't need any examples, you have your own, but every 5 years we do a highway bill called ICE-T. TLU they called it last year, 5-year program. That expired in October. The states came to us and said, you know, we like the federal highway program. It's an 80% federal money, 20% local match. That's a pretty good program. But you know what? We're flat broke. We can't put up 20% anymore. In fact, the state of Michigan left $600 million about on the table. They didn't have the matching funds, so that money went back in to the fund. But it wasn't just Michigan. It was 30 to 33 states who said, we can't do it. We can't match anymore. We're broke. So one of the things we did on about December 16th, just before we left, was we put jobs, Main Street jobs, jobs for Main Street, passed it in the House of Representatives. Instead of doing a 5-year highway bill with an 80-20 match, we said the states can't do it. We're trying to get employment going. We're trying to get that bridge fixed, repaired, whatever it might be. Why don't we, for 1 year, delay the 5-year program, and for 1 year, 2010, why don't we take $27.5 billion out of the Highway Trust Fund? That's about what we spend every year in the highway bill. Why don't we take it out of trust fund, not add to the deficit, but take it out of trust fund? And why don't we have it 100% federal, no local share, no state share? And every time you spend about $1 billion, that's 23,000 jobs. Underneath the formula, Michigan's amount of money would be about $884 million, or just over 22,000 jobs would probably be created or sustained if we do that. We passed that bill on, I think it was December 16th. It's pending before the Senate. We've urged the Senate, and the President has urged the Senate, to pass the bill before the end of January. It doesn't do us any good to argue about a bill for 3 or 4 months, and then you pass it, and then by the time you get ready to utilize it, as we know in the western UP, if it's August, September, it's too late to do a road or bridge and start a project like that because winter sets in. So we're trying to get this done immediately and get this bill in there. There are other parts